Whoa, didn't see you there. I was just checking on this, my 2002 BMW 325 IT. This has been converted to a 5-speed manual using the 5-speed ZF. Oh, oh, you want to see? You want to see that shifter? Let me yap for a little bit about why I have this car and what it means to me, and then I can go ahead and show it to you. So I've had this car for about 2 years now. I bought it off a coworker and very dear friend of mine who, when the transmission exploded, the original torque converter automatic, he decided to go ahead and swap it for a 5-speed manual transmission. A very odd thing for him to choose to do, considering he couldn't drive manual and hadn't owned a manual car before and hadn't really swapped anything ever. All those things may go to explain the next part of the story. Unfortunately, the guy that he had paid to help him swap and convert this car ended up being not the most trustworthy and honest guy. He ended up kind of scamming my friend. He did put the transmission in there and it was all buttoned up, but the car never drove. When the clutch was put in, it was put in wrong, so the clutch never really engaged or disengaged properly. If you started the car in gear, you could kind of drive it around. You couldn't put it into gear while the car was running, only when the car was off. So he let the car sit for about 3 years with this issue. Not really like an outrageous thing to do. I mean, I would be fucking pissed if I had just spent all that money and time swapping a car for it still not to drive. So after those 3 years, the city were getting on his case about what the hell is this car doing, just sitting there, and he really needed to get rid of it. And that's when I swooped in and I picked this up. Now, I would say it took about a year for me to kind of get this project to a semi-completed state. The first thing I did was swap out the throwout bearing and clutch again for a nice brand new loop clutch through a friend of mine. About a couple months later, the throwout bearing went out again. So that was really nice. So I lived with a nice maraca shake in my transmission for a while, actually, probably for about a year, for about like 4,000 miles. Definitely not the smartest decision I've ever taken when it comes to cars, but I mean, look at the scenario that I was in. I had just spent just about every dollar I have to get the BMW that I had just bought running, and it had broken again on me immediately. So I decided, instead of doing the transmission all over again, I would focus on things that mattered more to me, like the fact that the lights had stopped working and that the tags were about 3 or 4 years expired. So the tags are pretty simple. I had to pay them, get the car smogged, and then my tags were all good to go. So that I won't spend too much time talking about. But this is the light control module, and this was the bane of my existence for about a year. For the first year of me owning this car, my headlights were stuck on. I had no turn signals, not even my hazard switch worked, and my reverse and brake lights did not work either. The brake lights ended up being that when you manual swap these, the pedals for where like the brake pad or the brake light sensor on the automatic ones is slightly higher up than on the manual ones, so you just gonna have to bend it down when you manual swap it. No one did it at any point. I didn't know about that until we went under there and went, oh, we can just kind of like and get that shit looking, working again. But the LCM, I actually read on the forums that when you replace the LCM, you don't need to get your car reprogrammed. That's kind of like a myth. You just need to make sure to get one that has the identical serial number. So I looked on eBay, looked through all the serial codes, and I found one that had my exact code. Bought it, plugged it in, and no difference. So I went, okay, well, it must not be my LCM. So months and months and months of researching on the forums, asking people, trying to figure it out, asking different BMW shops if they've ever seen this problem before. Nobody really had another answer for me besides the LCM. So eventually I just gave up and decided, yeah, I guess it was the LCM. Maybe the one I got was bad. So I bought another one with the same serial number, and then that guy just never sent it to me. So I had to cancel that order. And then I bought another one with the same serial number, and that one worked. And now, I don't know if the mic will pick that up, but now my lights work, my turn signals work, and my reverse lights work. Thank God. That was the bane of my existence for like a year with this car. So then, next step, my lights were working, my car was registered, and my maraca was a tip-a-tapping. What is next on that? Well, the blast pipes in the back that I'm sure you saw on some angles, that actually came way before anything. That was like the first thing I did when the car was running, was go get the muffler cut off. And then I went ahead and put the lowering springs and these 16 style 5s on it to give it this nice low look. Now, I wish I had time to clean my car before I came out here today, because the brake dust on the front rims does make the car look way worse. But hey, man, you work with what you got. And what I have is a couple hours and a little bit of sunlight. So I did what I could. I love it, though. I think it looks fantastic, and it doesn't rub at all. It scrapes on everything, not only because it's slow, but because it's very long. So when I used to go into the driveway at my job, I used to scrape just about there every single day. That was really cool. And so yeah, I finished the suspension. I had good tags. My motor was running fine. I went ahead and did the clutch and the throwout bearing again. I just left the same clutch in there, did the throwout bearing, and I think we did all the shifter bushings and stuff while we were in there. So what's next? Surely after just going through that laundry list of things I've done to the car is pretty much done and ready for me to just continue dailying until more issues approach. I don't know about that. Now, I've done a couple general maintenance things to it already. It wasn't all just like the emergency bullshit that I had just described. The valve cover on there is new. The spark plugs and the ignition coils were done right before the swap was done, so I didn't have to worry about that. I did do the oil pan gasket. I've kept gas in it. That cost me a lot of money. That's a very frequent ask of this car. But other than that, well, I'll tell you. Let's get on the road. I'll show you off that 5-speed I promised, and I'll go through whatever issues I still have on this car. I'm gonna go ahead and center the wheel here. Oh my goodness. So a lot of my time spent on the interior was kind of just taking it back to stock. It used to have this big tablet here. It was very bright and didn't even have CarPlay, so I replaced that for this cheap Amazon unit because it looks pretty stock. There it is, the 5-speed, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, the one thing about it is it feels really bad going into 5th. Like, you see it's still over there, and that's like, there you go. And also, all the bushings are new. Oh, all the bushings are new, and it still kind of shifts like crap. So I'm worried there might be something wrong with my transmission itself. I'm just gonna try to stay positive, but I love the interior of this car. I have spent about 10,000 miles since I have bought this car just sitting here. And honestly, I love it. I've taken this thing to San Diego. I've put like 3 sets of rims back there. The headliner is sagging, but we don't worry about things like that here. We just worry about the car and how it drives. So let's go drive it, and then I'll tell you the rest of the issues I'm having. So all that I described must have been a pretty piece of money. How much realistically could this car have left to do? Well, it does have 193,652 showing right now as we idle. So the poor girl has been around. Like I said, I bought it with like 183, so I'm a little over 10,000 miles into my adventure here with the BMW. So I'll walk through the issues that I haven't fixed yet that I bought the car with, and then I'll walk through the issues that have occurred since I have bought it and had the opportunity to have things break on me. Number one, the oil sensor, the oil level sensor light comes on every single time I turn on the car. There is very little way for me to avoid it. I checked the oil for the first couple times it came on, thinking, oh my God, no way. My car is low on oil. After the 3rd time of the boy crying wolf, I don't check my oil anymore. Like I said, the shifter still feels like crap. I have put work into having that no longer be an issue, but unfortunately, either there is another issue somewhere that I didn't fix, or it might be in the transmission that my shifter just feels like crap. It did feel like crap when I got the car. It feels like crap now. Even though I did stuff, I'm still going to put that on the list of stuff that was broken before I got the car that is still broken. You know, that's really the full list now that I think about it. It also, the trunk release little thing was broken when I got it. That's replaced already. The windows are weak, but that's like a super common E46 problem. I don't even know if that's worth me bringing up. The passenger side front window, if my passenger brings it down, I have to tell him, hey, by the way, you might need to help it up, especially if it's cold or if it's wet, because yeah, that is not coming back up on its own. Now, I should do a little preventative maintenance, and while the window still rolls up and down, I should just replace the motor, but it's expensive. Also, my sunroof doesn't work at all, and on FCP Euro, the part's like $500, and because like I would fix the sunroof and then never use it because I'm terrified of sunroofs, because in my experience, like this car, they all just fucking break like 90% of the time. So like, yeah, I fix it and I know that I have a good one for the foreseeable future, but then it's like, I don't really ever plan to get rid of this car. So am I willing to have to spend another $500 X number of years down the line? God knows. But I haven't done it yet, and I'm not really planning on doing it, so we'll see. Now, on to issues that have crept up while I own the car. My coolant light now does the same thing my oil level light does. It likes to cry wolf a lot, so I don't check it anymore. That one I am a little bit more sauced out on, because I know that these cars have issues with cooling, because all BMWs tend to. In fact, this car has had the entire cooling system replaced already, because right before the transmission went out, the cooling system exploded. I don't know. That's how it was described to me. I don't know exactly what it was done to it, but I believe that it's all new. I mean, I put 10,000 miles on it and never had a single heating issue. I mean, like cooling issue, and I have driven this car in like 100+ weather with the AC on and, you know, just chilling. Hey, man, it's a luxury car. I'm going to do luxury car things with it, which is, you know, AC and hot weather. And then, I mean, besides that, just general squeaks and rattles. I mean, the throw-up bearing is making noise again. And there's a dip there, sorry. And the major thing that is still wrong with this car is that my throttle feels like fucking garbage. There's a weird delay in my throttle. It's, in my mind, due to having recently tuned the car. So because it's a manual swap, and because of course the car was never running, it never got like reprogrammed as a manual. So I had the transmission light on and the little like dot next to the odometer and no reverse lights. And also if I went into reverse too long, it would start screaming at me and my traction control light would come on. Probably because the car wasn't really sure what was going on. Once I got it tuned, this throttle issue appeared where it's like, the most apparent that it is when you're upshifting from second to third, your revs will just jump up like 500, 600 RPMs. And so when you slot in, it's like you're like tapping the throttle to downshift on an upshift. So every single upshift on this car, that's the most egregious one, but it does it all the time for every gear. It feels like shit to drive because you're constantly bucking. I just need to get this thing retuned probably. But sorry, there's a 7 Series that drove by. I'm driving a Beamer. Like, I felt like I had to acknowledge it. I probably should just get it retuned by a different shop. We didn't tune it. It was just like a laptop, like ECU flash. So maybe that was the issue. The guy who did it for me had also done it on his own manual swap, the E46, and it never had these issues. So I don't know. It might be something else. That's the thing. It's like every issue that I've had with this car, it's just months and months and months to figure it out. And it's really fucking infuriating. But I keep sticking with it, A, because I love driving this car. I adore driving this car. This scenario isn't really good for it. I'll touch on that in a second. I just love driving this car and I love being in it. So I've been willing to keep trying through these issues and keep putting up with it. Obviously, because I've had this car for like 10,000 miles. Like, I clearly am willing to put up with it because I have been putting up with it. Now, I don't think there's a lot I could say about the E46 that hasn't been said already by people who know more than me. But what I can say is that mine specifically doesn't really like canyoning. I spoke when I was driving my Fit in the last video that the Fit loved to go fast. It loved to be revved out. Every time I went in the canyons, I never felt like I was asking it to do something that it didn't want to do. It was all good. This car, however, every time I go up in the canyons, it kind of feels like it doesn't want to be there. Now, granted, there's a lot of car here, and I don't really blame it for not wanting to be up there. In fact, that's not even what I mainly use it for. I mainly use it for freeway driving and like daily driving, which like it is great for. I mean, besides the throttle issue. Because it just, I mean, what I care about in a car is I like enjoying my drive there, and I like people to know that I am cooler than them when I get there. And this car accomplishes both fantastically. I love driving it because it's a manual BMW, man. Even though the shifter feels like crap, I'm still rowing my own with an inline 6, rear-wheel drive, and 5 doors. That's cool. And my car is bright red and slammed on the fucking ground. I ain't driving no Sentra, homie. I'm cooler than you. And I'm having more fun than you. I love dailying this car. It has been a little rough, as I've said, but I don't plan to sell this anytime soon. I hope I never have to sell it. And it also helps that all my friends like this car. So it does kind of stay near the top of the keep list for me. Would I recommend this being your life? Would I recommend you buying your own 46 wagon, or just E46 in general, and trying to daily it? Sure. I mean, it hasn't been that problematic. I've only had to tow the car like twice, but that was before the clutch was fixed. So that wasn't like a real tow. Like, I bought it knowing that those tows were going to happen. So I don't count those towards the car, you know, like that's not its fault. Like, it was already broken. And like, it's been, like I said, it's enjoyable. I love this car. I love being in here. I love the interior. I love seeing the car. Just walking out to the parking lot and seeing the car is a good time. And you get a lot of attention, especially because this one's a wagon and it's bright red, which it helps. Although, all that to say, it is, I wouldn't recommend getting it as your only car. This is like my backup daily. Like the Fit's number one, and then this, and then all the sillier, more less practical cars come after. Not that I need all this space all the time. I mostly just daily this car because it's one of the ones I like the most, so it gets to be in constant rotation. But it is like a little too big, you know. Like whenever I go to like downtown Los Angeles, I'm not bringing this unless I have to because I had my Fit broken for like 3 months. I like to take the Fit because it's easier to park, you know. If I could take my Miata, I would, but I don't really want to get my top slashed, and I've heard that that's happened to people in kind of the area I like to hang around, so I'm not gonna do that. Anyways, I guess that's just all I have to say about this car. I love it. You should get one. You should buy this one, actually. Even though I said I wasn't gonna sell it, you should give me $10,000 and then another $8 and I'll give you this car. Alrighty, I love you. Bye.